Hey everybody, Miss B here. Welcome back for another story time. Have you ever wondered where potato chips come from? Well, if you have, this book is going to help you figure that out. Today we're reading Mr. CRUM'S Potato Predicament, written by Anne Renaud, illustrated by Felicity Sala. All right, let's look in here and see how potato chips were made. George Crumb loved to cook. He froscade and flambéed, boiled and braised, poached and pureed. He made sorbets, souffles, stews, and succotashes, ragouts, and goulashes. It's got a lot of stuff going on in this kitchen. George loved cooking so much, his house ballooned with food. So he opened a restaurant called Crumb's Place and hired a waitress with cheeks round as plums named Gladys. George cooked to his heart's content, and his customers devoured his concoctions. Many considered him to be the best cook in the county. That is, until one day, when in walked a peculiar-looking patron. He wore a purple polka-dotted carafe and a sunflower on his lapel. Filbert P. Horsefeathers is the name, he trumpeted. The P stands for punctilious. And I have a hankering for a heaping helping of potatoes. Just potatoes, said Gladys. Just potatoes, said Filbert. So, with a swish of his apron and a tap on his chef's hat, George got to work. He cut the potatoes into wedges, boiled them, fried them in a dollop of lard, and sprinkled them with salt. Then Gladys set the potatoes down in front of Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers. Filbert speared a wedge with his fork and peered at it from all sides. Too thick, he said, pursing his lips and pushing his plate away. Well, huckleberry biscuits, said Gladys. The customer at table 5 is sending his plate back. Picky, 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 muttered George, who had never before had a customer refuse his cooking. Let's see what he does. So, with another swish of his apron and a tap of his chef's hat, pop, George prepared a plateful of thinner wedges, and Gladys set them down in front of Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers. Filbert speared a wedge with his fork, peered at it, and took a teeny tiny nibble. Still too thick and bland as burlap, he said, rolling his eyes, pushing his plate away. Well, flying flapjack, said Gladys. The customer at table 5 is sending his plate back again. Fussy, 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 muttered George, who proceeded to cook a plateful of even thinner wedges, this time with an extra splash of salt. When Gladys set the potatoes down in front of Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers, Filbert speared a wedge with his fork, peered it, nibbled it, and then took a bean-sized bite. That's teeny, teeny, tiny. Still too thick, still bland and undercooked, he said, puffing out his cheeks and pushing his plate away. Gladys let out a t-t and a t-t-t and a snort. Then picked up the plate and returned to George's kitchen a third time. Uh-oh. This cannot be, said George. Everyone loves my spuds. They're scrumptious. They are succulent. They are sublime. Not according to finicky, persnickety, Filbert Punctilious Horsefeathers, said Gladys. Let's see what happens this time. Now George was known to his customers to be a bit of a prankster, and his daily menu was evidence of his lively sense of humor. To draw a laugh or two, George often listed menu items that were, shall we say, somewhat unusual. All right, let's check out this menu. It says today's specials are stewed skunk and sassafras sauce, pickled possum pancakes, grilled groundhog, and croûte. Oh my goodness. I don't think I want anything from that menu. So, in the spirit of playfulness, George took one more potato and carefully balanced it on his chopping block. Okay, let's see what he does. With his finest, sharpest knife, he slowly shaved it into the thinnest, slimmest, and trimmest of slices. He heated a ladleful of lard in his pan and fried the slices until they were so crispy they crackled. And then he showered them with salt. "Let's see how Mr. Horsefeathers fancies these spuds," said George with a wink. With a wisp of a smile, Gladys set the plate down in front of, say it with me, Filbert Ponticlius Horsefeathers. Filbert turned his plate this way, then that way. He tried spearing one of the potato slices, but it splintered. So Filbert put down his fork, and with his fingers, he stacked the slices until they teetered. Then he cracked one, and he snapped one. Only after that did Filbert Ponticlius Horsefeathers pop one into his mouth. Okay, so what do you guys think he's going to say about these hard, crispy potato slices? He says, "Perfection," he proclaimed. And before he could say prickly porcupine pie, Filbert had munched, crunched, and gobbled up every last morsel. "I guess the joke's on you," said Gladys, when she returned the empty plate to George. "Fire up that frying pan one more time. I want to try one of those myself." So with the swish of his apron and a tap on his chef's hat, George did exactly that. "Why, my taste buds are tap dancing," exclaimed Gladys after sampling George's new creation. "Delectable and delicious," declared George, after he too ate a few. "I'll call them CRUM'S Crispies and put a plateful on every table." I like that. CRUM'S Crispies. Word spread, and before long, people from all over the county and far, far beyond were clamoring for George's new concoction, which came to be known as potato chips. The end. All right, so what did you guys think of Mr. Crumb's potato predicament? Ponticlius Horsefeathers came in and did not like his potatoes. George thought he was going to play a trick on him, but it turned into be one of his greatest, delectable, edible masterpieces to date. Now we have the potato chip. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you back here next time for another story time. Bye-bye. Now it's time to say goodbye. See you later, alligator. Bye-bye, dragonfly. Take care, polar bear. Gotta go, buffalo. Good wishes, little fishes.